Hey guys, I hope everyone's having a great week of training. So this week I'm going to be talking about just some advice for newer white belts. So this could, it's really advice for anybody, but it's specifically geared towards, someone starting out. They have no experience in jiu-jitsu and they're just getting into it, into the art. So before that, let's get into some training. Boom. Hello. Hey. Cheese. Hey, baby. Hey, baby.
No.
Felix. So guys, from the videos you can see, I've been kind of restructuring my training, so I'm doing more conditioning. That's why you're seeing like, more lifting videos. I'm still training jiu-jitsu and still teaching, but I've been kind of taking a little break and just, enjoying that off season from last week's video topic. So back to this week. Again, this is mostly just advice towards newer white belts, but it's really advice, that'll work at any belt level. So just, someone starting out, I kind of like to sit down with newer students and just kind of see where they're at and, what their goals are. But usually, I'll see kind of a reoccurring pattern. So one really big thing for me that I see a lot in newer white belts is that they really beat themselves up when they don't get a technique, or when they start training, they really beat themselves up when they don't beat up, the other senior students. And, it's kind of crazy, but, I'll train with the white belt and then they get upset at themselves when they can't beat me. And in my head, or I'll just talk to them like, man, you're not going to beat me right off the bat. You got to work hard for that. So it's just really important, you guys, don't beat yourself up. Jiu-jitsu is not an easy art form. It takes a lot of investment in, as far as like your skill, learning techniques, your time commitment to jiu-jitsu. It's gonna take years to get proficient at it, and then it's just, you just gotta invest a lot into it. It's not gonna come fast. It's not gonna come easily. So don't beat yourself up when you get tapped out in training by blue belt or white belt that's been training a year. It's gonna happen. It's supposed to happen. If you're beating people, with no experience, and maybe that's not the right academy for you, you're obviously not going to get any better if you're already beating everybody as a new fresh white belt. So don't beat yourself up. Just you just got to pay your dues and go out there and try your best. Try to learn the technique, and don't worry about being really good. Nobody expects anything from you as being a new white belt. As an instructor, I have no expectations of your skill or strength or anything. You're just like this ball of clay that we want to form into something better. So just show up, man. Don't worry how, maybe you start training with someone else at the same time period. Don't worry about their progression. Just focus on your own jiu-jitsu, your own game, and your own development. Don't worry about anyone else. And this goes for, all the belts, even competitors. Sometimes we beat ourselves up when we don't win that tournament we've been training for a long time, or maybe we don't have a lot of followers or subscribers on YouTube, but it's okay. Just work on developing yourself and getting a little bit better every day. All right, guys. So that's a really huge one. Just don't beat yourself up. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the practice. Outside of that, I think really focus on learning techniques. And it's really easy to just, especially, the people that are a little bit physically stronger, like they want to use their power, they want to be strong and go hard. But when you don't have the foundation yet, it's just you might be tough for about 30 seconds, but then after that, like, you're not gonna have anything. So for my advice is just start really working on the techniques, even if it's super basic. Just really do a lot of repetitions and get the basics down. When you're a white belt, just get the basics down. Get the basics, and leave the other stuff, like more advanced stuff, for later on. But just get your basics, like your self-defense techniques, your defensive jiu-jitsu movements. Get those down. Okay, don't worry about attacking, because you're not good enough to attack yet. You gotta work up to that. But you're going to be defending a lot, I can tell you that. So again, you want to be good at defending and recomposing side, defending your back, defending mount, and how to get out of those bad positions and back to a more neutral position or a better position. So that's where I always tell white belts, man, don't worry about doing like berimbolo or anything crazy. Just, man, learn how to pass the closed guard. Get out of that closed guard. Because some of these white belts, they be stuck in closed guard for like 10 minutes, man. And that's not That doesn't even sound fun to me. I don't want to be in closed guard for 10 minutes. So you got to work on those basics, guys. Get that basics down. Get those basics down. Next thing, I'm kind of keeping this short today. Got some stuff, somewhere to be later. But the next step, keep your breathing under control. So I watch a lot of beginners training, and they're very tense. They're very, but man, they're not breathing during that whole period of that tenseness. So jiu-jitsu, we call it flowing. You want to be relaxed. Imagine like you're surfing or skateboarding. You want to be relaxed, and when you're relaxed, you're able to adjust your body and move, and you're actually going to be able to think more, fluidly, and you're going to be more flexible when you're relaxed versus when you're tense. You're not going to be able to react as fast. You're actually going to lessen your reaction speed and your reaction time. So just keep your breathing under control. And with your breathing, you're actually going to see that you're going to be able to control your heart rate better. Okay, so when you control your heart rate with your breath, you're going to be able to think more clearly. You're going to be able to think clearly. So when you get in those bad positions that I mentioned earlier, you're going to be able to calm yourself down, okay? Acknowledge that you messed up. You got your guard pass. The person's inside mount now. Instead of panicking, just breathe, okay? Now think about the next step. What do you need to do now? How can you stop the person from progressing from the side mount to something, even more dominant? So that should be your thought process. Control that breathing. And it's just going to help you just perform a lot better, okay? When you're panicked, that's the worst time to learn, and that's going to be the worst time for you to try something or do something new or, do something smart. When you panic, usually, you're throwing everything out the window, like all your technique, you're going to rely more on instincts. But as you train more, you're going to realize instincts aren't always the best thing to rely on. For instance, like say you're in a choke, a cross choke, in closed guard, your instinct might be to pull your head back, pull your neck back. But you're actually going to make the choke tighter in that regard. So you can't always rely on your instincts. There is a time and place for intuition, but it's usually after you've developed a technique and you've had, hours and hours and years of training. So you've already built a foundation, then you can rely on your instincts and your intuition. But when you don't have any background, you have no foundation, your instincts are going to be wrong. So that's why in jiu-jitsu we have really good attacks from, say, when someone's mounted and they push you, 100% chance they're going to get arm barred, or they're in close guard and they put their hands on the floor, they're going to get kimura'd or choked. So we have those really good positions because we know, hey, if we fight against someone that has no background in jiu-jitsu, they're going to make these mistakes because they don't have the training. So again, keep that breathing under control, and it's going to help you perform a lot better. When you're breathing, your conditioning is going to be better. When you're not breathing, your conditioning is going to be pretty bad. So keep breathing, keep that heart rate under control. And then my last piece of advice for a newer white belt, or really anybody at any belt level, is just to keep it simple. In jiu-jitsu, we like to make these really, intricate movements and try to chain them together. For instance, like a berimbolo to the back take, to the leg drag, to like blah, 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 blah. And that looks really cool, but at the end of the day, I think it's best to keep it simple because it's just going to work. The less steps you have to do, the more efficient you're going to be in your jiu-jitsu. And I think the best example of this is Roger Gracie. He had very, we call it classical jiu-jitsu, so he relied more on just basics and all the foundational jiu-jitsu that you learn in the beginner's class, but he just developed his skill set to such a high degree that he could get mount and just do the basic cross choke on, the best black belts in the world. I mean, obviously what he's doing is very complex, but at the same time, it's very simple. He's literally doing the same movements that you will learn in the jiu-jitsu beginner class. He's just applying it at a higher level. But the moves and the skills are exactly the same as a white belt might learn on their first few classes in training. So just keep it simple, especially in the beginning. Don't try to learn anything complex. Try to break down the movements into very, very small pieces. And your positions, just worry about the basic positions. So as a white belt, you're probably going to be in closed guard a lot. Work on learning how to pass the closed guard and get to the side mount and how to control the side mount. That's really important. Or, you know, again, as a white belt, you're going to be getting your guard passed a lot. So work on how to properly recompose, how to strength properly and frame the face, and how to get your guard back. Because those are two really big positions that, you know, you're going to be in as a white belt. And don't worry about the other positions as much, because it's going to take a little bit more experience to get in those positions, which you might not be at quite yet. But just focus on, you know, just those simple positions. Again, passing the guard and recomposing to the guard, and get really good at those two things. And then once you get really good at those two things, then move on to something else. And that's a really big process within jiu-jitsu. It's like there's so much in jiu-jitsu. Very common question I hear is, what do I do? What should I do? I hear this at white belt, blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, black belt. It's like, what should I do? And in all honesty, you need to do everything really well. But you know, you can't do everything at once. So just pick something in your game that you want to work on now, and get really good at that. And then maybe, you know, a few weeks or maybe a few months, once you've gotten that down, move on to something else. So I think that's what we mean by jiu-jitsu is a journey. So you're always going to be working on some part of your game. It's never going to be 100% everywhere. You're going to get good at something and work on something else, and then what you were good at, you're going to get a little lazy on, so you're going to have to go back to that eventually. So you're always going to be developing something. Okay, guys? So again, this is just basic advice for white belts starting out, you know, those new guys with no experience in jiu-jitsu, but really for anybody at any belt level. So if you guys like this video, please give me a like, and please subscribe. I'm getting close to 60 subscribers, so that's a really big deal. My goal for this year is to hit 100 subscribers by the end of 2017, and hopefully get up to, I think I need 7,000 more views, and then I can add some cool music back to my videos without getting copyrighted, hitting that copyright infringement from YouTube. So guys, let's work towards that, and let's go to the next level, guys. Until my next video, ciao, peace.